Okay, since it's cold outside and they still keep shutting down my phone, I didn't want to do that, upload a few seconds or a minute of video, but it looks like that's what I'm going to have to do. To let you guys see what's going on, how they shut down my phone and all these spectrums around me. But I just saw a video called, the name of the video was Foster Care and Adoption Propaganda. I don't usually go and talk about my personal life, that things that happened to me in the past, but I'm going to share this one story with you of how when I was 17, I was living with my mom, me and my newborn baby. No, I was 18, and Anthony was about a year old. And he was in the bathroom on the toilet, and my ex-husband, Gerald, was with him, and he said Anthony had fell on the radiator and hit his face. So I asked little Anthony, that was Anthony, I'm sorry people, I asked Anthony what happened. He said he fell on the radiator off the toilet and hit his face. I took him to the hospital in Billings Hospital, and they stitched him up, but they said they would keep him for observation. So every day I would go visit him. And then one day I wasn't able to go visit him. So when I went back to the hospital, they told me that Anthony had been abused, and that they were taking him away from me. And I said I was 17, 18 years old. And I told them what happened. They said, well, you did not come. You haven't been visiting him. And I was. I only missed one day of not visiting my son. And of course, they took him away from me. And he wound up going with that thing that my aunt, that you guys that I talk about how my families are the one that's doing this harassment. They're controlling a lot of what's going on with this MK Ultra, this harassment. And she wound up taking him, adopting him. And years later, I got a call in the 80s from this agency who said that my cousin's baby was in the hospital and Lillian was born with drugs in her system. And they wasn't going to give her back to the mom, so they wanted me to take Lillian. She was like 8 months old. And I said yes. So when I went to get her, they told me that Erica, who is older than Lillian, her sister, that I need to take her too because they don't want the girls separated, the sisters separated. So I agreed to take both of the children. Since that time, I've had a total of 6 foster children. 6. This was in the 80s. The police came to my house one day and said that I had whooped my son, Gerald, so they were going to take the foster kids away from me. That was 2 I had, Lillian and Erica. So again, that thing, who I used to call my aunt, adopted Lillian and Erica. But still, in the 90s, this is how I wound up with a total of 6 foster kids taken care of. They called me and said that, from the hospital, and said that my cousin's daughter had been molested by her mom's boyfriend. Would I take her in? And I said yes. Again, they told me I had to have a fingerprint and have a background check. And again, they gave me foster children. Now, I was going back in court with Cynthia, with my other cousin's kids. And they told her she was on drugs. She had to take a drug program, which she failed. Every time she went to take a drug test, she failed. Her other stipulation was that Ben, her boyfriend, who had molested Anita, could not return to the household. So, I kept her. I got the other brothers and sisters. But one thing that troubled me about Lanita was, when I took her in, she would eat up a whole box of cereal at one time. She would eat up everything like she had never eaten before. So I called counseling at the foster care center, and they told me that Lanita wasn't used to having food. So she would eat up everything at one time because she didn't know where her next meal was going to come from. So some mama was using the money for drugs. Another incident that happened, that when guys used to come over to visit me, now she's 9 years old. She's 9. She would act very flirtatious. So one day I get a note from school saying that Lanita was sitting in class. She had wrote something on her leg between her thighs, and she was asking the little boy to look between her legs to see what was written. She would come home with money sometimes, and I asked her, where you get this money? She's 9 years old. And she said, oh, such and such gave it to me. So again, I called the foster home and asked them about this behavior from a 9-year-old girl. And they told me that she had been doing sexual things to get money to feed her brothers and sisters. They told me that I'd have to show her love, and she didn't have to do that. Now, I kept Lanita for about a year. She was not a child when I got her. She was a grown woman at 9 years old. So, I did everything I could to show I loved her. I told her that you don't have to eat everything. There will always be food in this house.